Hello and welcome to the Fast Forward Business Podcast. Today is the 19th of May, 2021, and I am Justin Spencer Young. The question on my mind today, or the question for this podcast, is do you have a thinking partner? Now this might seem like a very strange question, because generally thinking is something we do on our own, in our own mind. But for me, thinking out loud is a very normal thing to do, and I understand for many people that's not normal. For me, thinking out loud happens best in the presence of someone else who provides the space for me to do that. And what's important here, an important ingredient, is that of trust. Trusting that that partner will provide the space and the confidentiality required that goes with this process. And I find sometimes there's a magical ingredient that is quite important to having a thinking partner. And I don't have it with everyone. In fact, I don't do this with many people. I have a very tight handful of people who I can really engage with from a thinking partner perspective. But that magical ingredient is that thing that gives me the space to think clearly with them. Now, the concept of a thinking partner is not my intellectual property here. I need to give credit where credit is due. This is the work of Nancy Kline and her book, Time to Think. And I must give thanks to Maurice Baruch, who taught the concept to me and helped me realize the value that comes from a thinking partner. So the reason why I'm talking about this today is because this morning, after an early run and a cup of coffee with my good friend Dave, we found ourselves in a thinking pair and having the opportunity to think out loud together. And it turns out for me that Dave is able to inspire me to think more clearly. And one of the key concepts or components of being a good thinking partner is that you are able to listen and listen well. And in fact, to listen with intention or attention for the other person. And I find that when I'm given the space to think out loud and someone provides to me their full attention, is that my thinking becomes very clear and precise. So when I think alone, and maybe you can relate to this, is I think in circles, especially when it's in my mind and I go round and round and I really don't get to the important point. But when I'm able to think out loud in the presence of someone else, I find that my thinking is more linear and I'm able to complete my thoughts and then go the next step to get deeper into what is the next thought and what else needs to happen as I go through this process of thinking. It's important that if you're going to have a thinking partner, that you set some rules, and confidentiality is critical around having a thinking partner. Because if you're going to think out loud and share those important parts of what goes on inside you, be sure to do that with the right person and put those rules in place. So part of the Fast Forward Business Podcast is add some value to my listeners' lives, and I'm hoping that this concept of a thinking partner will add value to your life. Give it a try. I think you will surprise yourself. And until then, we'll see you on the Far Post.